This is the video for my war game. I have here just the directions on top, and then I created two classes. The first one is for the deck to create the deck, so my constructors are the array that everything will get pushed to, and then the two elements for the cards, this suite and the suit and the value. Then I created a for loop to have it iterate through each one of the values with the suite and then go to the next value and so forth. And then I created a little name just so that, as you can see over here, it kind of 10 of spades, 4 of hearts, and then I have the little icon here, just so it's a little bit clearer. And then I gave it a little bit different value. So instead of starting with an index of 0 and going through there, I gave it the value of the face cards. So twos are twos, threes, and so forth. And then it just counts up from there. So a 10, Jack would be 11, Queen 12, King 13, Ace 14, because the ace beats everything. And then I pushed it all into the deck and then returning the deck so that I can then use a test for this particular method, which I will show in just a moment. Then I created a shuffle method as well. I researched how to create the shuffle method and found that a Fisher-Yates method was the most common and widely used. So this is where I pulled that from. And so from the for loop down, I just pulled that straight from the Fisher-Yates method and then made sure that it matched the values that I had already established. So that's how it shuffles. And then my second class is game class, and this is kind of where everything sits and how you play the game. So my constructors are my players. So names, they get a score and they get the hand, so the array where their cards will go after the cards are dealt out. Then in my play game method, we created a new deck, we shuffled it, and then we are pushing a card to each player until there are no more cards. So until the length of the deck is not 0. Once it's 0, we don't have to push any more cards. Then I just did a for loop where each one card from each player is compared. And then if the player 1 has a better hand, then player 1's score goes up. If player 2 has a better hand, then player 2's score goes up. And I created a console log with kind of a lot of words so that I knew what was going on. So it tells me what the cards are, tell me who won the round, and then tells me what the score is, and it continues to um, add as the game goes on. The last one is for if it's a tie. So if neither one of the players has a greater hand, that would mean it was a tie. And so as you can see here, since they both have a 2, there's no one gets a point. And so the score stays the same from the round before to the round after. Then I put a final statement in. So this kicks in when there are no more cards in either in the player hand array. And then it just compares the scores. So if player one's score is greater, player one wins. Same thing for player 2. And if the scores are tied, then I put in a little thing of like tie game. Go ahead and play again. And then this is where I call the new game object. So I create a new instance of it, and then I run the play game method on there to actually iterate through. And then this is what you see in the console. So and I, went through and checked to make sure that the correct player won. And then down at the bottom, we see player 1 wins, and player 1 had a score of 12 to 11. I then went through and created a test for the create deck kind of method to just make sure that it is creating the appropriate number of cards. So in the create deck, the function, the length of the deck should be 52. So I called a new deck. I called the method, or I created a new instance of deck and called the method create deck. And then we console logged it. And as you can see down here, it console logged the 52 cards, and then it checked, yes, the length of the deck should be 52. I added another test just to make sure that it wasn't going to say that it's always the correct one. So I said, I think it should be equal to 50. And as you can see, it came through and said, nope, it is not correct. It is not 50. So failed that. So that is my war game.